little boy lost in search of little boy found. You go wandering, wandering, stumbling, tumbling round, round. When will you find what's on the tip of your mind? In search of little boy true, will you be ever done traveling, always unraveling you running away could lead and as for fishing in streams for pieces of dreams, those pieces will never fit. What is the sense of it? Little boy blue, don't let your little sheep roam. It's time, come blow your horn, meet the morn, look and see, can you be far from home?
Yellow, I walk through the valley of the shadow. Thou art with me. Though my heart's been torn on fields of battle, thou art with me. Though my trust is gone and my faith not near, in love's sanctuary thou art with me. Through desolation's fire and fear's dark thunder, thou art with me. Through the sea of desires that drag me under, thou art with me. Though I've been traded in like a souvenir, the doubter's gloom and the cynic's sneer. Thou art with me in the crowded rooms of a mind unclear. Thou art with me, though I'll walk for a while down a trail of tears in love's sanctuary. Thou art with me in love's sanctuary. Thou art with me in love's sanctuary. Thou art with me.
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? Good. Great. It's nice to be back. I'm glad you're still here. This is a congregation that is built on our covenants rather than our creeds. We don't all think alike. We don't all believe alike. But we do all share the notion that how we live this life matters. How we treat other people matters. And trying to continue to grow in our understanding and capability for compassion, all those things are really important. We share some values that are represented by our little jet pig here. And if you want the list, we can give you those. But that's an acronym. Anyway, so whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be here with us in a spirit of mutual respect, you are always, always welcome. I want us to start with a song. This is in Hebrew, and I have no idea if you can sing it in this key or not, but it's the only one I can play it in. So. Ine matohu manayim shevet ahim gam yad. Uh-oh, maybe I can't play it in this one either. We're gonna give you like a while to get used to the sound of the words, and they're up here so you can see what they're like. And then we're gonna try singing it in a round. And I think we'll do it twice in Hebrew and once in English, and twice in Hebrew and once in English. Is that okay?
Okay.
Just to complicate things. I don't want you to get too complacent. Yeah, and good luck on the key. Ine matohu manayim shevet ahim gam yad. Ine matohu manayim shevet ahim gam yad. how good it is and how pleasant people to be together. How good it is and how pleasant for people to dwell together. Good and pleasant people in peace together. Good and pleasant people in peace together. Do we want to try it in a round, or is that enough? All right, we got champions for rounds over here. This side is more populated than this side. So y'all sing, make a joyful noise.
Do you want us to start?
How about if we start and then y'all come?
Okay. And we wait till you do it twice at the beginning, right? Because otherwise we'd be singing the same thing. We only did once. I got it.
Well, but we would still be staggered at parts of it. Anyways, yes.
We got this.
I hit Louisiana and my allergies kicked back in. So good to be home. Thank you. I apologize for the choking. You did great. All right, we have some announcements. We like to front load these services with information while we have you. Do we have a board person?
Our Giveaway the Plate recipient, which if you don't know, Giveaway the Plate is anything that's collected in the basket as you go out the door that is loose cash and is not identified in any way. That goes towards our Giveaway the Plate recipient, which is the Food Bank of Northwest Louisiana this month. That is a very important resource, especially right now with all of the financial upheaval with government resources, and it's just a time of the year when people need extra help, the furloughs, all of that. There's been a really high need for those services, so appreciate anything extra that you can put in that. At the end of the month, we'll give a donation of all of those funds to the food bank. Our volunteer of the month is Jennifer Russell, sitting right down here. Every week she is making slides and running slides, and she organizes for game night and a lot of potlucks, meal trains, and she has been a board member for I think 2 cycles. So she has done a lot for the church. We have a newcomer session, yes, today after church. So That is just learning about who we are and what it means to be Unitarian Universalist, the history and how things work here at the church and what the process is to become a member. And so that will be down, is it still in the youth classroom? The classroom with the couches in it right after the service today. We have Thanksgiving events coming up. Next Sunday is our Thanksgiving potluck. There is a sign-up genius posted on our Facebook page. I think at this point it may have fallen down, so Steve can bump that again at the top and then maybe go out in the email this week, so you can sign up for different dishes. I think we're looking for about 4 turkeys and some vegan dishes and all the side dishes. That is after the service next Sunday, so everybody come and enjoy. And then on Thanksgiving Day, are we having an event here? So if you don't have a Thanksgiving event that you're attending already, you're welcome to come to the church, and we will have, is it a potluck style too for that? Yeah.
And it's at 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock, not at noon. So I think that's all we have for this week.
Thanks.
Just a reminder, we are a part of an organization called North Louisiana Interfaith, which is a group of congregations and other organizations that combine together to work on what we find in common to help create change in the community. And it can be anything from standing up the current community lighthouses that function in the event of a power outage. And we currently have 2 up and running, one at the Highland Center and one at Morning Star Baptist Church, with 2 more on the way. And that funding is still there, and so we are thankful for that. But their event, their annual kind of fundraiser / celebration event, is December the 7th at Mount Canaan Baptist Church from 3 to 5 p.m. that afternoon. There are some of you that I'm going to be reaching out to directly to invite you, but really all of you are invited, and you just need to let us know so that we can plan. There was something else. Yeah?
7th is Tuesday.
December 7th, yeah, 3 to 5 p.m. Again, it's at Mount Canaan Baptist Church, which is in Allendale on Alston Street. I used to have that address like in my head all the time. What? 1666, that's right. Thank you, 1666 Alston Street. Beautiful church, incredible facility, and they have graciously offered their space to host. Give away the plate. I was going to say, James mentioned loose cash in the basket, which does go to give away the plate, and also if you want to give online for Give Away the Plate, there's a way to mark that. If you just select Give to Give Away the Plate, then that month it's all going to go to the food bank. So there is a way to do that if you don't have cash or a check on you. If it is a check, you can put in the memo line what part you want to go for pledge and what part you want to go to give away the plate. I know I had one more thing. Newcomer session you already mentioned. I know there was another thing that was right there, and now it's not. Write things down, Susan. Write things down. Okay, anyway, thank you for being here.
So let's let our heads and feet get in the same place and take a couple of breaths to try to put maybe some of the information away for a little while and just open to a spirit of elevating and contemplating things that are of great worth. In these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with more questions than answers. What's going to happen next? Will everything work out for the good? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes, and forwarded emails, as if some new zodiac were capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way. As if we can prepare. As if life had ever made any promises of making sense or turning out the way we thought. As if we are not also actors in the still unfolding story. For this hour, we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves from the needing to know, the yearning to have it all already figured out, and also to let go the burden of believing we either have all the control or none of it. Here in our songs and in our silence, our stories and in our sharing, we make space for a new breath, a new healing, new possibilities to take root. That is courage, forged in the fire of our coming together, and felt in the spirit that comes alive in that act of faith. That we believe still a new world is possible, that we are creating it already, here and now, is living into our faith and our truth. So let us worship together. Would anyone like to help me lead the first part of our chalice lighting? Wonderful. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other. I don't know how they work that out, but it seems to go smoothly pretty much every time. Isn't that great? Cherished flame, blaze forth as wisdom brought to life. Guide us with the light of hope, the warmth of love, the beacon of purpose and meaning. Because we're all a little afraid of the dark, let there be light. We light this flame to inspire ignition of the sacred power of justice. We light this flame so that it may be a beacon of hope in our own mind's eyes. In moments of uncertainty and fear and anxiety and the unknown, we light this flame and allow ourselves to be emboldened by its blaze, knowing our strength as a prophetic and powerful people is rooted in the diverse ways that we answer the call to love. Would you please rise in body or spirit and say with me the unison affirmation? Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. I was going to play it. Thank you, though. Our opening hymn. My life flows on and in the song of a bird's lamentation, I feel that we go far off and that there's a new creation. Through the dawn and the sky, I hear music singing. It sounds like rain in my home. How can I keep from singing? But though the tempest round me grows, I know the truth delivered. But though the darkness round me grows, songs in the night it gives. No storm can break my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. And so you listen, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble at the tear, the bells of freedom ringing. When friends rejoice, no far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison veil and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. Friends are flown, are undefiled, how can I keep from singing? I was trying to do it with some energy. It's more of a rumble. So let's just sing the first verse again. No, let's sing the last verse again. When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing? So even if you're not a singer, remember, you got to keep singing.
Good morning again. And I am going to do, which we really shouldn't do, which is do the announcements that I forgot in a worship element. I'm setting a bad example. Don't do this when you do your own worship service. First of all, I wanted to say that Bob Jordan has some art that was left from his booth yesterday, which is beautiful. It's by his father, his brother, and I think himself or friends, or anyway, there's some beautiful stuff down there. A lot of us were lucky enough to get in on the first run and buy some things, but if you are interested in any of the art that is displayed in the social hall, please talk to Bob. I wanted to congratulate Phoebe Jordan. She is part of the performance of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at Shreveport Little Theater, which my husband and I went to on Friday night, and it was the most fun, and she's incredible. So congrats, Phoebe. The show we went to was sold out. I don't know about this afternoon, but if you haven't made plans for the afternoon, you might check Shreveport Little Theater and see if they still have tickets. Yes, thank you. I thought that. Yes, thank you. So my story this morning is from Rabbi Simcha Bunim, who was a Polish rabbi. He lived from 1765 to 1827, and he was kind of the grand rabbi of, I believe it's Peshikta. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but that was his kind of his domain, his rabbinic domain in Poland. And he told a story about two pockets. And when Reverend Barbara asked me to tell this story, I knew I was already going to wear this dress. So this is a story of two pockets and what Rabbi Simcha said he always carried. On one side, he said he had a slip of paper that said, "For my sake, the world was created." But on the other side, in the other pocket, he had a slip of paper that said, "I am but dust and ashes." So, for my sake, the world was created, and, not but, and, I am but dust and ashes. Why do you think he would want to carry those two sentences? Why would you want to think he would want to keep those two thoughts? Are they the same thought? No, they're kind of different, yeah. So why do you think he would have wanted, and I'm asking the kids first, I guess, but I'm asking the grown-up kids too. Why would he want to carry those two thoughts around with him all the time where he would think about them and look at them when he needed to? Yeah, Ava? Wonderful! I don't know if everybody heard that, but that's exactly right. It was one, to keep himself high, to keep himself uplifted, and the other, as Ava put it so well, so he doesn't become a narcissist or something. Exactly. So he knows this world is here for me, and what a wonderful thing. And also, I'm not all that, you know. I'm not. I am. I've come from dust, and I will one day return to that. And so I don't want to become too important in the grand scheme of things, but I also don't want to forget how important I am in the grand scheme of things. But we talk about the interdependent web, interdependence. It's one of our JET-PIG values, that we're all related and everything affects everything else. And so if you need to carry these pieces of paper in your pocket, I recommend it. It's a really good way to keep some balance in your life, to keep yourself, as Ava said, uplifted and yet not become a narcissist or something. I think that's a really good interpretation. And I believe we're going to sing a song.
It's just the same phrases that are on pieces of paper. For my sake the world was created. From dust we are made, and to dust we return. For my sake the world was created. From dust we are made, and to dust we return. One more time. For my sake the world was created. From dust we are made, and to dust we return. For my sake the world was created. From dust we are made, and to dust we return. One thing. Why would he talk about dust? Why would he say we're made of dust? That's true, but also, what pillar are we in? What study season are we in right now? I'm sorry. We're in Jewish and Christian heritage. Okay, and what happens in the first book of the Bible? Creation. And where do people come from in the creation story one of the creation stories in the Hebrew Testament? Basically made from dust. So if Rabbi Simcha is from the Jewish heritage and the Jewish heritage teaches that people are made from dust, that's staying true to his faith to tell that story, right?
Right?
Just wanted to make sure we were grounded in our pillar.
Thank you. And with that, we'll sing the children in each of their class. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Thank you, Miss Susan. This reading for our meditation, our reflection, comes from Tomo Hillbrow. And she or he begins with a quote from Anais Nin that's paraphrased. We don't experience things as they are, we experience them as we are. Tomo goes on. My house came with a mess of a garden. It was as messy as the divorce I was going through at the time. A forest of thorny 6-foot-tall thistles with a rusty fire pit and an old plum tree. Cleaning up this garden and keeping it tidy gave me a sense of control that I desperately needed. For several years, I diligently weeded, added plants, grew vegetables, hosted al fresco discussion groups for church, and s'more parties for kids. My garden became a healing place for one of my daughters as she recovered from a long illness. Little did I know that it was healing me too. I remarried. And when my daughter regained enough strength to launch herself back into life, I took a full-time office job. Gardening time shrunk to 0. My workload is especially heavy during spring, right when Chicago flora wakes up from deep winter slumber. By the time I get through it, it's already July and my garden is too much of a mess to deal with. The space that I had kept immaculate and neat was now weedy and unkempt. Echinaceas were getting weaker and eaten almost to the ground by rabbits. Bee balms were withering. Russian sage was shrinking, and last spring the old plum tree didn't wake up. I felt so guilty for letting it all go. In 3 years, it reverted back to being a thistle forest, now without the plum tree. I felt defeated. I kept the curtains drawn toward the remnant of my garden. This year, after the spring madness at work had passed, my husband coaxed me outside to clean up. The ground was moist, and we could pull the tall, prickly thistles without much effort. he counted 291. To my great surprise, the garden was thriving among the thistles and other weeds. Thriving. Tall, skinny thistles not only didn't shade other plants, but also were acting as support structures for perennials that needed some hand-holding while growing. Pesky, creeping Charlie turned out to be fantastic ground cover, keeping the soil cool and moist and controlling other kinds of weeds. Accidental green lantern plants were lifting false indigo, and the echinaceas were growing to be full height, supported and protected by everything around them. I realized it is my inadvertent letting go that made this wild, interdependent beauty possible. And at that very moment, I knew I didn't need that sort of control anymore. How liberating it was. We left a grove of the thistles in one corner as an altar for my husband who loves thistles, and for me to thank them for welcoming me back to their garden. Tomo closes with this prayer. Spirit of life, Mother Nature, thank you for reminding me that we are intertwined in something much larger and beautiful, and we are supported by it even when we can't see the whole picture. Grant us the strength to disrupt our routine ways of thinking and the courage to let go of any sense of control. And may we all learn to love the thistles of our lives. Amen. maybe with a lifetime, comes a song that sings you from the inside. Can't be here without one. Gravity and stardust, mirror pairs, the beauty with the horror, making sense somewhere. Over and over we stumble and we fall, thinking we'll be safer with thicker walls. Disappearing armor saves us. Didn't see it coming. One true heart that set me back to humble with her courage in such dark. Over and over I try to make it back to that kind of open, but on my own I can't. Disappearing armor saves me. Children lost beneath a cloud, the monster's voice is still too loud, and I'm just trying to do what's mine to do. Time may be the prism to restore this long division, but I'm back to you, making one of two. Maybe with a lifetime comes a song softening the edges till the walls are gone, disappearing armor, disappearing armor, disappearing armor. Many, if not all of you know that I recently had the honor of doing a concert in California where I used to live. It's a beautiful part of the Sierra Nevada foothills, and I lived there for a number of years, but as part of the show I got to do music with people I played music with when I was, well, I'm not going to say how old I was. A long time ago. But also, I had written very few songs when I lived there, and I did a number of songs by other friends who were songwriting at the time. And when I got there, people were saying, well, people are going to come to the show wanting to hear your old stuff. Well, I hadn't played any of it in 30 years. And some of it I can't play anymore. But so I started the show with a song that was familiar to them. And then that song that we just heard was the second one that I played. I wrote that song with a sense of what it was about, and any of you that are creatives, I know you know the feeling of things showing up that you didn't intentionally generate. They just kind of find their place in the world. Well, a lot of that song was like that. But when Miss Susan did her story several weeks ago about the caterpillar and the chrysalis, and the fact that in the chrysalis, the caterpillar becomes liquid before the liquid softens the chrysalis and the butterfly can come out. That state of liquidity has made a whole lot of sense to me these days. And sharing that analogy with friends out on the West Coast made a whole lot of people be able to breathe a little bit easier. Now, I don't know if that's true for you. But I asked the crowd, I said, okay, who knows what happens to a caterpillar when it's inside the chrysalis? And some elementary school teacher said, it becomes liquid. And all these other people were going, really? But the idea, I have another friend that lives in the southern part of the state, and she was saying, I know that everything was not working the way it was and that it all needed to change, but not this way. And I'm thinking, tectonic plates don't move gently. Caterpillars, we're in the Jewish and Christian study segment of our church year. And caterpillars are mentioned 9 times in the King James Version. That word is replaced by other stuff in most of the other versions that I consulted. But they're always in a negative context. And when I think of caterpillars, although some of them can be beautiful, they are destructive critters. They have all these legs, that are working, and they work more in concert than humankind seems to. But they're also eating stuff that would seem beautiful and worthwhile and necessary along the process of reaching the point where they start creating this chrysalis around them. So if we think of ourselves as being in the soup, in a box that we actually helped to create, it can feel really hopeful for me. Butterflies are not mentioned in the text at all. Moths are. They can also be destructive. But the size of the caterpillar is in correlation to the size of what comes out of the chrysalis. And I'm thinking we were a mighty big caterpillar. Although we're dust. We all, the whole human race, have been part of this monstrous creeping thing with many legs and a destructive creature. As the more we've learned, the farther away from nature we have moved in a lot of ways. and for us to have to somehow reconfigure everything we know so that it can burst into some beauty that we cannot even imagine. I love that idea. Acknowledging that what I'm about to do with the text is not an accurate translation. I'm going to use the word love for the word, in the place of the word God, for the first 5 lines in the Hebrew and Christian Testaments. Okay? Because for me, those words work interchangeably in a lot of ways. Anyhow, so in the beginning, love created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. So whatever this is, that earth wasn't. Okay? And darkness, was upon the face of, let's see. And let's see. Yes. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So darkness existed before light in these creation stories. Okay? What we have somehow come to know was initially without any shape at all, and darkness was first. And love said, "Let there be light." Oh, and I forgot to say that darkness moved on the face of the waters, and I'm wondering, where did they come from? But love said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And love saw the light, that it was good. And love divided the light from the darkness. So the first divisions in the text were created out of love. Now, the rabbis I know can explain every bit of this through the teaching and studying that they have done through millennia. I'm not going to try to do that. But it's fun for me to play with those ideas. Love saw the light, and it was good, and love divided the light from the darkness, and love called the light day, and the darkness love called night. And the evening and the morning were day one. So from the time we got here, this paradox of everything that's dark and everything that's light has been a part of the equation. Whatever it was initially, like I said, the creation story, in the creation story, earth had no shape. But the separation was part of day one. In Proverbs, it's in the 3rd section of the Hebrew Testament, and it's kind of towards the middle of the Old Testament, or in the middle of your Bible if you have a Christian Bible. Psalms is in the middle, and Proverbs is a little bit after that. But in Proverbs, it tells people not to depend on their own understanding. We want to figure everything out. We want to know how things work and why and what we can do about it, and how we want to know how we make a difference. what I keep running into is the idea that anything small enough for me to wrap my head around it is too small to be the ultimate. Whatever we call that. Whether we call it love, whether we call it God, whether we call it nature, whether we call it the mystery. Many of you know that I like to listen to or read Richard Rohr, who is a priest that's really a universalist. He's a Catholic priest, but he's really a universalist. In his most recent book, he's talking about how a lot of the prophets that people are referring to talk about doom and the vengeance of God and all of that kind of stuff were in the process of becoming spiritually mature, and some of them in the texts that we have available never got there. He calls them unfinished or incomplete prophets. But he says even they get to the point where at some point they say, even so, I'm going to be grateful. One thing we know is in the grand scheme of things, we know very little. And with the vastness of all that we can also, all that we can acknowledge and understand, we can seem very small. And at the same time, there's beauty around us all the time, right? You know, my eyes can get hungry for beautiful landscapes, and I love driving across country and getting to see some of that stuff. But in my neighborhood, I have whistling ducks, and I have white squirrels, and people have flowers in their yard, and there are humans in my neighborhood that are beautiful. And I'm trying to help us remember that as we approach the holiday season, as we watch things happen around us over which we have no control, and while we continue to do all that we can for furthering the causes of love and compassion and justice in the world, we need to find ways to be grateful. It changes our interiority. It changes the energy that we carry into the world. You know, if we can keep something close to us that holds us in awe of what's around us, like, for my sake, the world was created. Something like that. If we can keep in mind something that holds our egos in check, like I am but dust and ashes. If we can keep in mind something that reminds us that we can't and don't and never will know everything. And we don't have to. If we can keep in mind something for which we are grateful, and maybe throw some words into the universe of gratitude or acknowledgement of the things that are beautiful, it will help us be more effective in our work. It just does. And I don't have to know why. It changes how people respond to me. It changes how I make the people around me feel. Call it what you will. The season that we're approaching, that we'll be having a ritual for next Sunday, is a season of thanksgiving. So let's give some thanks. We can remember to thank one another. We can remember to thank the universe. We can remember to thank ourselves for the things that we do to make us better. But our closing hymn will be Bring Many Names, and I do want Miss Susan to play this one. If you'll rise in body or spirit, please. Bring many names, beautiful and good, celebrate in parable and story, holiness in glory, living, loving God. Hail and Hosanna, bring many names. Strong Mother God, working night and day, planning all the wonders of creation, setting each equation, genius at play. Hail and Hosanna, strong Mother God. Warm Father God, hugging every child, feeling all the strains of human living, caring and forgiving, till we're reconciled. Hail and Hosanna, warm Father God. Old aching God, gray with endless care, calmly piercing evil's new disguises, glad of new surprises, wiser than despair. Hail and Hosanna, old aching God. Young, growing God, eager still to know, willing to be changed by what you've started, quick to be delighted, singing as you go. Hail and Hosanna, young, growing God. Great living God, never fully known, joyful darkness far beyond our seeing, closer yet than breathing, everlasting home. Hail and Hosanna, great living God. I really am glad to be back. I missed y'all. A lot of things stayed the same where I had been. A lot of people seemed not to have changed very much. And I watch you work at growing and stretching. And I value that truth a great deal. I think you expect me to do the same, and so I try to do that too. We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up for the precious gifts that they are. And renewed by their grace, let's move boldly into the unknown. Amen. So be it, and blessed be. Go in peace.